What is going on, everyone? Are you sick of the city? Want to find a rural town, get a mortgage, and drink some sweet tea on your new porch? Who doesn't, right? Today we're looking at great rural towns in the Peach State, Georgia. This is the 7th video in this series. We did the entire US for the first video, then we did New Hampshire, Montana, Tennessee, Colorado, and California. Each state is different, and each state has some very interesting small towns. A couple things about rural Georgia towns. Small towns in Georgia, but really the entire South, have some tragically run-down towns that are in very bad shape because of poverty that's been going on for decades. So it was hard to find quality rural towns in Georgia that don't have some serious issues. That doesn't mean they don't have some wonderful rural towns. They do. Probably some of the best in the nation. What we're looking for in these videos is that sweet spot. A decent place to live that isn't too close to a major city, it's easy on the crime rate, not 5 hours away from a hospital, and so far out in the sticks that they have horrible internet. We're just looking for those things. Simple, right? Not always. In the other videos, I explained that not all states have 10 good rural towns, and I don't want to waste your time with some places that were really a reach to call a good town. Okay, let's take a look at Georgia. Number 6, Blue Ridge, Georgia. Blue Ridge is a North Georgia mountain town right between Atlanta and Knoxville, Tennessee, with Atlanta being the closer one about an hour and a half to the south. Blue Ridge has a good-sized downtown area with the Blue Ridge Scenic Railroad and plenty of places to eat and drink, which includes Blue Jeans Pizza. Everyone loves that place. They have a few breweries, but one has the best name I've ever seen. Grumpy Old Men Brewery. I love that. This is a great town to live or just visit for the weekend and do some wine tasting or something. The Chattahoochee National Forest is nearby, and it's a major draw to the area. They also have a drive-in in town. A drive-in? Who doesn't love a drive-in? That gives a place a leg up over the competition. Makes me want to call an ex-high school girlfriend and see if she wants to go to the drive-in with me. I don't think my wife would be too keen on that, but still, they have a drive-in. They also have a population of about 1,500 residents and a crime rate that's 3% lower than the national average, which is outstanding for a place that sees a lot of visitors. People drinking, they do stupid stuff, your crime rate goes up, but they're doing pretty good. They're 3% lower. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. When it comes to internet, they got pretty good options here. You got ETC Communications with 1 gig, and that covers 99% of the town. You also have Blue Ridge Mountain Electric, which has 100 megabits per second, and they cover about 50% of the town. So that one gets them a faded thumbs up. Now, as far as hospitals go, you're looking at Fannin Regional Hospital. I hope I pronounced that right. It's about 10 minutes to the north, and it's a good sized place. Anything major that they can't cover, you got Atlanta right down the road, about an hour and a half. So they get a thumbs up for that as well. When it comes to real estate, they've got cabins all in the woods around town, and they look pretty cool. I'm just going off what I saw on Zillow, but they start off around $200,000, and you can get really nice ones for $400,000. They got some other ones that are a lot higher, you know, that's on a creek and stuff like that, but $400,000 should get you something really nice here. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. Number 5, Tallulah Falls, Georgia. In case the word falls didn't tip you off, Tallulah Falls is known for some pretty cool waterfalls. Including the Sliding Rock. I've seen the Sliding Rock a few times. It's pretty cool. It's like a water slide, natural water slide down some rocks into a pool. People go there in the summer. It is great. The town of Tallulah Falls is known as the gateway to the Tallulah Gorge State Park. They got a bunch of waterfalls here, and they're pretty cool. Plenty of hiking if you got the knees for it. It could get pretty hectic. They have a lot of stairs going up and down this gorge. Fewer than 200 people live in Tallulah Falls, but they see a lot of hikers and actually kayakers love this area too because of the Tallulah River that goes right through the bottom of the gorge. Tallulah Falls sits about an hour and a half northeast of Atlanta, Georgia, right on the South Carolina border. When it comes to healthcare, right down the road, about 18 minutes, is Stephens County Hospital, which is pretty good size for the area. It's another one of these places, obviously, since it says county, takes care of the county, so it's pretty good size here. They've got nothing in town, so they get a faded thumbs up for not having anything in town. But down the road, you got what you need. It's only 18 minutes away. When it comes to crime, their crime rate is 67% below the national average, and they have no reported violent crime in the last 10 years. That's outstanding. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. When it comes to real estate, there's just a vacant lot here for sale right now that's going for about $70,000. Last year, they sold a handful of places around the area for about $270,000 to $350,000. So, prices are up a little bit. I would guess if they had those homes for sale right now, they would be closer to $300,000 to $400,000. They don't have a lot to choose from, so they get a faded thumbs up for that. When it comes to internet, they're doing great. They got Windstream that offers 1 gig DSL, covers 99% of the town. They also have True Vista, which offers 1 gig, and they say they cover 99% of the town too, which is outstanding for a place that only has about 200 residents. So they get a big thumbs up for that. Number 4, Pine Mountain, Georgia. Pine Mountain is a town in western Georgia, about 45 minutes north of Columbus, Georgia, and Fort Benning for that matter. It's a water tower town. I love those. Their water tower looks like it has a fresh paint job. I hate seeing them when they have a nice water tower and it's just the paint's flaking off, or it's just painted one color and they don't put the town's name on it. I think that's just too bad. But they look like they take pride in their water tower. Great job, Pine Mountain. Pine Mountain has about 1,500 residents and they enjoy a crime rate that's 17% lower than the national average, so they get a thumbs up for that one. When it comes to doctors, they got some doctors in town, but if you need an emergency room or anything like that, you're going to have to go up to LaGrange, which is about 25 minutes away. So they get a thumbs up for that one too. If you like to golf, good news, they got a golf course right outside of town in Pine Mountain. They also got a little, Robin Lake it's called, where they got beaches and it looks like a nice place to hang out and swim. When it comes to buying a house here, they got plenty to choose from. I mean, it's kind of a big area, but in town, nothing really. Just outside of town, they got everything from homes for $125,000, which you might not want, all the way up to $450,000. But if you want to get something decent, you're looking at probably about $250,000, $280,000. That'll get you into something decent. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. As far as internet goes, they're doing great. They got AT&T that say they offer 1 gig, but they also have Spectrum that offers 1 gig. Spectrum covers 99% of the town. So they get a big thumbs up for internet. This is a beautiful part of Georgia. I mean, the woods there, it's just a nice place to live. The summers get a little hot and humid and the mosquitoes can get pretty bad, but if you can get past humidity and bugs, not a bad place to live. Number 3, Lumber City, Georgia. Lumber City sounds like a place you buy home improvement stuff from, but no, this is a city in Georgia. One of the girls that work for us said it used to be like one of those male stripper Chippendales type things in Canada back about 10 years ago. And of course, that turned into a discussion around here of, well, how did you like it? Did you enjoy going to this thing? And she said no, she didn't really go to it. Her grandmother suggested she go to it while she was there visiting, which made it even more uncomfortable talking about it. But then she went on to explain that her grandmother said, no, you should go there. Maybe you'll find a husband. You've been single an awful long time. Yeah, that's where you go to meet your soulmate, at a Canadian Outback strip show. But back to Georgia's Lumber City. Lumber City, Georgia is a town of about 1,200 residents on the Ocmulgee River, about 2 hours west of Savannah, Georgia. The community was actually named after a sawmill that was near the original town site. If you like fishing, this is not a bad place to live. I saw a good amount of fishing videos of people pulling largemouth bass out of the Ocmulgee River. This is a great place to retire on a budget. The cost of living here is 24% lower than the national average. So if you're retiring with not a bunch of money, or let's say you're a remote worker that doesn't make a bunch of coin, this is a great place to live, especially when you look at the housing prices. Now, right now, there's nothing for sale, but this is one of those places you want to keep an eye on. Like I said, especially if you're on a budget. Late last year, they had some homes sell for $150,000, like 4 or 5. They look nice, they look livable. These were decent houses, and I'd say the average house goes for about $100,000 to $150,000. They had a couple that sold last year that probably need a little help. You probably have to do some work on them. They were selling for $60,000 and $70,000. Like I said, a great place to retire on a budget. So they get a thumbs up when it comes to real estate. They'd get a big thumbs up because it's so cheap if they had more to choose from right now, or had something to choose from. Keep an eye on this one. When it comes to internet, they get a faded thumbs up because they have AT&T, which covers about 90% of the town, and you can get 100 Mbps from them. They also have Metacom, which also offers 100 Mbps, and they only cover 65% of the town. Now, they do really good when it comes to crime. Their crime rate is 70% lower than the national average. This is a nice small town with good people that don't do stupid stuff to each other. So they get a big thumbs up for crime rate. Number 2, Madison, Georgia. Madison is a town of about 4,000 residents that sits about 30 minutes south of Athens and about an hour east of Atlanta. This is an adorable southern town. They have amazing old homes all around small towns in Georgia, and Madison's no exception. That's one thing I like about this part of the country. It's almost like they have a renew instead of remove policy. Like they're not knocking down houses and putting something new. On the west side of the country, developers have an itchy bulldozer finger, it seems like. You can buy a decent home here for under $300,000. When you get over $400,000, it's going to be really nice. So they get a big thumbs up for that because that's not expensive for this nice of a town. Their crime rate is 4% lower than the national average, so they get a thumbs up for that. It's not the best, but it's still pretty good. And when it comes to healthcare, you got no worries there. Morgan Medical Center is right in town. It's a pretty good sized place. They have emergency room, all that good stuff you need. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. When it comes to internet, AT&T Fiber covers 100% of the town, which that's a gig. That's not bad. They also got Spectrum, in case you don't like AT&T. They also offer 1 gig, but they only cover about 65% of the town. So they get a thumbs up for that as well. Madison, Georgia is a great place to live. Their downtown is awesome. It's just that old school Main Street type feel. And look at this old courthouse they have. That's like all the buildings here, that old brick, just beautiful buildings. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. We would really like it if you went over there and subscribed. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Lincolnton, Georgia. Lincolnton is a small rural lake town that sits near Clark Hill Lake and the Savannah River, pretty close to the South Carolina border, and it's also about 50 minutes north of Augusta, Georgia. This one's better suited for someone that has a little coin in retirement. It's not terribly expensive, but when it comes to housing, it's just not a place if you're looking for cheap real estate in retirement. A decent home here will be around $400,000. They have a good amount to choose from, and they'll start around $250,000, go all the way up to about $600,000, but like I said, a decent one starts off around $400,000. And if you're watching this after 2022, don't leave a comment about how the prices are so much more and all that. Keep in mind this was done in 2022. Prices will change. They'll all go up. We know that. This is a great place to live if you like to get outdoors, especially if you like fishing and being on the water, things like that. You got a lot of things here to choose from. Lincolnton has a population of about 1,700 residents, and they do not live in fear of much. Their crime rate is 70% lower than the national average, so they get a big thumbs up for that one. One other thing I should mention here, now their home prices are a little expensive, but their cost of living is actually 20% lower than the national average. That is outstanding. When it comes to healthcare here, they have a few doctor's offices and a couple health clinics, things like that. If you need a hospital 20 minutes down the road. In Washington, Georgia, that's to their west, you'll find Willis Memorial Hospital. Get that, Washington, Georgia, Lincolnton, Georgia. I like little weird names like that on the map. Like I love the one in Idaho and Washington right on the border. On one side it's Lewiston and the other one is Clarkston, like Lewis and Clark. But they get a big thumbs up for healthcare because they got enough stuff in town, and then there's a pretty good sized hospital right down the road. They're doing pretty good when it comes to internet. They have a company out there called Reliant that offers 1 gig, and they say they cover 100% of Lincolnton. So they get a big thumbs up for that one. All in all, I like Lincolnton a lot. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff to do outdoors, like I'd said. It's very rural, plenty of things to do. It's just a nice, quiet life here. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, be nice to each other.